Hey, this is Al from Transformational Gaming. Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you coming to the channel. Today, I would like to congratulate Microsoft in winning their FTC battle with the government. But before we get into all that, I'd like to thank you guys for hanging with the channel. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I had a video that I was going to put up, and a day or so later, I decided not to put those series of videos up because you could kind of see the tide turning in the arguments, and then once they said the judge was going to make a decision, usually those quick decisions don't favor whoever is the accuser. And in this case, the accuser was the FTC, and from what I had been hearing and reading over the internet, it wasn't looking good for Microsoft, and that's why I decided to hold those videos back. But rest assured, I was making videos. I was thinking about the channel, but specifically in this scenario, I decided not to upload those videos. So let's go ahead and get to what was going on. At the beginning of all this, Microsoft decided to start buying companies because they were incapable of making any games from the ground up, and any idiot could see that. So what Microsoft decided to do was start buying companies, and one of those companies was Activision. Now, we know that Activision has a plethora of IPs. A lot of companies are attached to them, and basically, as far as money makers concerned, right? I mean, Microsoft buying Activision is like buying at least about 30 to 40% of the industry as far as profits are concerned from games. I mean, they got games that have sold a lot. One of those games is Call of Duty. So they got games that they will be able to make exclusive to their console. And so one of my thoughts were, why destroy those IPs? Because Microsoft is not going to curate and take care of those IPs. So the FTC started getting in the middle of Microsoft and Sony's beef, and I think that was Sony's downfall. Why get the American government involved in something like this? Like, to me, Sony should have been taking Microsoft to court on their own, but trying to get the government and to lobby and stuff like that and get political with it. I mean, the FTC is a watchdog. They're not a lawyer. And you cannot use the FTC as a representative for your case. I mean, to me, my experience with the government is that they do everything cheap. And so they're not going to have the best of the best on a topic like this. They're just not. And so the government is now trying to file up, appeal or whatever. But my thing is this, I just think Sony should have took them to court by themselves and not use the government as a lawyer. Like, to me, that was just an automatic shutdown. And, one could argue, well, they would have definitely not won the case had they taken Microsoft to court themselves. But I mean, you definitely not going to win anything with the FTC. Even though the FTC got a 90% chance, I just felt like people in the government don't understand tech. They don't understand the marketing of tech. Like, they don't understand how Microsoft is positioned in the market and why they are positioned in the market. See, they don't understand Microsoft. They're a bad company, and so giving them anything is going to definitely torpedo the IPs that they're curating. And so, the government don't understand how to argue that. A lot of those people are around 60, 70 years old. You know what I mean? They don't, the ladies up there that's trying to argue, they don't understand the positioning of Microsoft within the game market. They just don't. And, and that kind of goes to my theory of some of those people in the government need to retire, for real. Like, especially in the Senate, it's crazy. It's basically a AARP, like, old people's home in there, man. I knew from hearing what their argument was, they didn't have a chance. And to me, it just looked like people who were just out of touch with video gaming. And so you needed somebody who understands video gaming and things like that and understand what Microsoft is trying to do. And clearly they didn't understand that. So moving back to Microsoft, and congratulations to them on winning that case. They still have one more hump with the CMA. I mean, Microsoft is lobbying hard. I mean, they know they can pay their way into influencing these governments. And that's just what's going to happen. And honestly, I don't think they should have to go through all of that, to be honest with you. I've always said that Microsoft should be able to buy Activision outright. And not that and buying Activision should, they should be able to do that. I am saying legally they should be able to do it. Not that they should do it. They shouldn't have to have government permission to do that, because to me, if you want something and you got the money to do it, you should be able to purchase and attain whatever asset that you should be able to get. To me, you shouldn't have to have FTC, but I understand why. Now, what does this all mean? Does this mean that Microsoft is now going to be the king of gaming? Absolutely not. I have full faith that almost to a man, I would say probably about 60 to 70% of the people who work on Call of Duty and who are responsible for Call of Duty's success, as far as being a programmer or a developer within Activision, they're probably going to establish their own companies. They're going to quit. They're going to leave Microsoft. Even the ones that probably thinking about staying, I believe that they're going to go ahead and leave at some point, because once they get a hold of what the management is all about and what Microsoft's culture is within their organization, they're going to be like, I'm out. So, and that's just a shame in one aspect, but I think that is good in another aspect, that people go ahead and move on from these companies at some point and establish their own company so they can have their own games and have their own IPs and move gaming forward. That's how games are moved forward. I was looking at the documentary of BioShock, and BioShock was a circumstance of a company obtaining developers from another company being bought by someone and the employees dispersing. So, and that's how it's going to be with Activision. Those employees are going to leave. And I just think this purchase is going to eventually have Call of Duty exclusive to Microsoft. And I think Call of Duty is going to be a mess. And once Microsoft takes over Activision, Call of Duty will never be the same again, because it'd be under Microsoft stewardship. I don't have to show and tell you all of the horror stories in gaming. I mean, look at Bethesda. I mean, look at Starfield. The game ain't even came out already, and they already telling you, hey, this game is going to be 30 frames per second. But that's another discussion for another time. I don't need to come on here and be melancholy about things, but I do want to have you understand what's going on and where we headed to. And I think that's why I do these things. I think when I first got on here to dispel all Microsoft's marketing claims of, 4K textures and things like that. But the channel's kind of changed and morphed into other things, and I'm happy for that. And I plan on making more changes in the future. If you like the content, please subscribe and like the channel. If you left because I haven't really been on here, go ahead and come back. I'm gonna start doing more of these videos. I got more videos that I want to put up, and I want to start developing more gameplay for the channel. I just haven't been able to do it because it's just been kind of difficult to do so with all the stuff that's going on around the house. But I'm gonna start trying to do so again and edit these videos and things like that. So come on back to the channel. I'm gonna try to start supporting you guys and things like that, and have you guys supporting me. And with all that being said, may the truth set you free. Later.